Welcome back, guys. Automotive Inc. So today we are out. I went out and took a test drive. A dealer had a 7.3 Godzilla XLT Sport Package, but I wanted to come and take a look at one of these Ram Rebels because the way this one was built, and unfortunately it looks like it sold before I got down here. It had a good price point. I think it was 68, and it's had the good towing. It would have met what we needed to get down on the channel. But let's take a look at this package. It's kind of funky. Not sure I would need this kind of tires, but let's take a look. Okay, so when you get the Ram Rebel, it's not, it emulates a Power Wagon for sure. But I love the marker lamps up there. That looks good. A little bit more basic. LED headlights, still super sharp versus like the diesel one. Good high wear bumpers. I mean, this matte paint has a good texture to it. Good body cladding. Really cool wheels. I like the wheels a lot. Supposedly you can get it in a solid color, but a lot of these are two-tone. Again, those big Duratrax, I don't know if I'd be into that. No puck system, no bed camera. Again, I like the lights here. That looks good. Again, this is a high wear material on your bumper, so that is a plus. Got liners in the both fender wells, super sharp. So let's take a look. Again, it has like a hybrid leather, stuff like that. 12-inch screen, does have the 12-inch LCD, 17 speaker Harman Kardon, and again the price point was 77 after they had their crap on there. Do like the door, the carbon and stuff. I mean, Ram still makes a good looking interior. Now if we flip around, here's a Cummins version of it, but you get less towing and less capability by going with a Cummins version of this Rebel. They said it's a specifically tuned suspension too. Looking on here, I don't see why that would be the case. I don't see it. But all right, guys, so I want to wrap this video up. After we took a walk around of those two Ram Rebels there, I took one for a spin, and I also took a look at a Hemi-powered Laramie that was a 24. So you can actually get that LCD screen in the Laramie trim in a certain package, and then it's going to be standard on some up trim ones like the Longhorn Laramie and or the Limited. However, after I sat and played with it for a little bit, I realized where I'd seen that display before. So that is a very similar display that I had in my Grand Cherokee L. And I hope they made some improvements to it, because there was a couple caveats where there wasn't a lot you could really do with it to configure it. And after sitting with this one, it seems to have way more options. And if you're an LCD guy, we have screens all day, computers, phones, and whatnot. If that's your thing, you may really like the screen. For me, it was better than Ford's by far, and it had a lot of different unique ways you could twist it and turn it, but I think it's going to be easily distracting or hard to learn once you get it. It looks like it had a lot of different things in it that you could twist and turn. However, it was very, very similar to the L, and after a while I kind of got bored with it, and it kind of washed out in the sun, which is not a thing for me. And for me, I need that depth. I need some different contrasting colors and stuff, so a lot of monotone colors. But that's really going to be one of the biggest changes for this year. It's not even going to be anything that's really, it's not going to blow your mind. When it comes to Ram again has said, hey, we're just going to keep doing with what works and everything like that. There has been speculation that perhaps they're going to get an Allison transmission in there. Well, Allison's already been pairing transmissions with Cummins for years. I don't think that's going to happen in Ram's realm. Chrysler actually owns Freightliner, and so they own Detroit Diesel and the actual, a lot of that stuff for the big trucks. I don't foresee them going into some type of thing with that. I've heard no scuttlebutt about it, so I wouldn't hold too much into that. Now the AISIN is still going to be the HD mega winner when it comes to Ram. That's going to be your big transmission, and at the end of the day, it's a good transmission. It's a rough shifting transmission, but AISIN makes transmissions for everybody. Nissan,
it's all over the board. The ZF that you're going to get, the 8-speed in the Hemi, it's a good transmission for what it is. And as for the 68 RFE, that was always my favorite transmission from Ram, and I think it did the job just fine. It's, again, when people start putting tuners and bumping horsepower, those transmissions can only hold so much power before they obliterate themselves. So again, if you leave it stock and you tow with it, I think the 68 RFE, the AISIN, the ZF 8-speed is going to be just fine. It's when you start going over and aboard. Now, when it comes to the Rebel, after looking at a Rebel and then looking under a normal truck, I really can't see where the suspension upgrades on a 3/4 ton are. And by no means was I talking to anybody saying, hey, that a power wagon can't get the job done. Again, I just don't understand towing, like fifth wheel and goosenecking, because that's what I do mostly. Those trucks make no sense to me. A Tremor makes no sense. An AT4, the new AT, whatever the hell Chevy's coming out with, that big monster off-road 3/4 ton. And so the Tremor, the power wagon stuff, I think those are good trucks and they pull like beasts. That's just not something I think the everyday consumer really benefits from. However, I'm not saying anything about the jobs, the capability of those trucks. That being said, the Rebel comes in at kind of at a different, I don't know if it's mostly fascia stuff. It gets Bilstein shocks, skid plates, downhill descent control, which you can get on the Sport. It gets like 33-inch like Duratrack tires. And what else did it have on it? Skid plates. It does come with a diesel option, which is cool. However, we'll talk about that in a second. Really, and then it comes with that digital screen. It comes with some specific Rebel striping and stuff on the interior. It comes with a distinct grille, different kind of headlights, a two-tone package in most of them. So I drove one of these. Fuel economy was, well, it was a brand new truck, and it was only like a 20-mile test drive. So, it said it got like 13 miles a gallon. I think that's probably going to be the max on that truck, maybe 15 highway, not towing. Very distinctive howl coming from the Duratracks. That's normal. Those are an aggressive tire. They're knobby, as what I call them. That doesn't benefit me as a normal driver. I don't like that hum, and I don't like the ride quality of that, because it really distracted from how nice that truck was, and it was really cool looking. So for me, those tires are going away. Now, those are 33-inch tires, and then it comes with 20s. The 20-inch rims are really cool, but to me, they emulate what's on a Power Wagon. So, I don't know where this truck really fits in for people. Now, one cool thing is it does sit lower than the Power Wagon. So if you think you need off-road capability, similar, not at all close, because the lockers and stuff that are on the Power Wagon, the winches and everything like that, and then the heavy rear end. If you don't think you need quite that, but you like that look, I think the Rebel's definitely your wheelhouse. And then the gas-powered version actually does more towing and more capability than the diesel. It's wonky. It's completely wonky. So you get a 16.8 fifth wheel towing and a 3100 payload spec out of the gas-powered Rebel. And when you step down to the diesel, that actually drops by 2,000 pounds and about 800 pounds in payload. And that's obviously the payloads from the diesel weight and the EGR and all that crap and the DEF tanks. But yeah, you lose 2,000 pounds of towing spec going with a diesel. So I'm not for sure why you would need a diesel off-roading. Again, guys, when you're looking at an off-road vehicle where it's going to be slow and creeping and crawling and idling and running your winch and keeping that on, that's horrible for these modern diesels. And although I think the Cummins does a good job out of it, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But because if you're buying the diesel for towing and the grunt force, well, then the tires and the setup makes no sense. So it's unique, and you're looking probably anywhere between, it had a 78,000 MSRP with a Hemi, so add 9,000-10,000 on that for a diesel. Other than that, the truck was extremely nice, rode nice, looked good. You can get a lesser version of that Hemi powered one with like not the LED headlights and stuff. But at the end of the day, the Rebel is a very cool truck, but you can expect a lot of road noise, rougher ride because of those tires. Again, other than the shocks, and I don't understand what type of suspension upgrades they were talking about, because once I finally looked under another 3/4 ton that was sitting right next to it, I saw no difference. So very, very unique, cool package. Again, guys, I'm not busting anybody's balls about, you know, power wagons and capabilities of a Tremor and or the AT4 or anything like that. I just, you know, as a professional driver that tows all the time, you need to keep that load level. And even though you can put a drop hitch on it, it's just kind of funny to think that your truck's way up here and your trailer's down here because you're using a drop hitch. And I just think that the dynamics is not as good as it could be. But nonetheless, if it works for you, rock on. But that is really the truth about the Ram Rebel. It's a really neat truck. It just wouldn't fit my needs. And at the end of the day, it's not as capable as a power wagon. But it is neat looking, just like a Tremor is very neat looking. AT4s are pretty badass looking. So if you're going for looks, then those definitely look really great. So at the end of the day, guys, I appreciate you being here. Smash the subscribe button, give me a like, and we'll see you on the next one.